Okay, so here in New England, the heat and humidity finally broke. And even in the best situations, in the best environments, this paint is going to take like 3 days to cure. And with the humidity and the heat of summer, it just took forever. It's finally dry to the touch. It's not tacky at all. So what I think we're going to do now is we're going to mask off this section so we can spray the top. I did think about doing it with a brush, because we're going to do this section with a brush just because there's so many areas to have to go in and mask off. So I think it's going to be a lot easier to just use the brush, and we're going to carefully brush it out, and we'll put the gray on that way. But I think the first thing we need to do is we're going to sand off some of the runoff or the drips. And when we painted the other color, especially like over here, you can see. So really just get this nice and smooth. Totally wipe all of the sand residue from sanding and powder, and just get all the contaminants off. You can see we want to get it nice, perfectly smooth and clean. You can see we're going to spray paint this. I'm thinking we should actually go ahead and spray this separately. We're not going to put that on. What we're going to do is we're going to block off the hole, and we'll do the top. So what I'm going to do is, right off the bat, I'm going to get a paper towel, and we're going to cover the hole. That way there, when we finish painting, we can just take this out. And then, when this is dry, we'll put this on. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, when it comes to getting the sides masked off, I think we're going to use some of the masking tape, maybe a little bit of Scotch tape. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go around first, and we're going to put a layer of tape, just so we have something to anchor everything to. And this it's not as sticky. The adhesive isn't as strong. So what I want to do is just go around, and we're going to start masking it off. Yeah, you gotta, when I spray, I'm gonna make absolutely sure not to overspray. See how we make the, it goes right up against the front, the section of the wall. So when we spray, it won't go anywhere else except on the surface sections. See how it kind of hugs the surface of the wall? And again, this tape, we don't want to use something strong like duct tape, so when we pull it off, the paint comes off. But the paint is durable, but we don't want to take that chance. Use the grills as a guide. You guys can see I'll put a little bit more over there, and then that'll be the grid for the grill. And that, and we're going to put, there we are. Okay, so in order to protect the rest of the ship, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it in plastic. I think in this case we'll use a plastic bag. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be. And we can go ahead and we can yeah. Basically all we want to do is protect the rest of the model, keep it covered, and we're going to gently see, we'll just give that a light coat. Okay. You guys can see we'll do the same thing. Very lightly. And we'll do the same thing. It'll be 2 coats. So we'll let this dry, then we'll come back and we'll give it more coats. Okay, so you can see you put a really thin coat on. Enough where there'll be no drips. Hopefully there'll be no drips. You can see the other side. All the parts are going to be gray. And because we're going to be doing the bridge area by brush, we can come back and we can touch up if there are any areas around the edge that needs to be touched up. But you guys can see, check it out. The gray, the little grills. And we actually, I have it around here somewhere. Here it is. That chrome reflective piece that's going to go behind these to really bring it out, make it look noticeable. Okay, so I got a little bit of an update. I put on a couple coats on the impulse deck and the hangar bay. So when that's dry, that'll be all set to go. Let's put that over here for a minute. And I had put 3 coats on this. Now, what I was hoping for exactly is what happened. You see how the different textures are showing up on the deck? Again, you don't want a nice, brand new, shiny, beautiful ship. It's Klingon, so I was kind of hoping for the weathered, beat up kind of look. And I think it came out pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper towel out for now. It's been a day. I painted this yesterday. And what I want to do is I want to take the masking tape off before it cures. Because once it cures, it'll be a little bit harder. Alright, so let's get the paper towel out. You can see the different colors. Alright, so let's take the plastic off and make sure that we don't get this on the color. We don't want the colors mixed up. Okay, so you can see the contrast in colors. And again, I like the texture. And when we put the clear coat, it'll kind of bring everything together. It'll kind of seal everything up. But I don't know if you can see the different colors. I love the contrast between the gray and the ocean mist. And we're going to let this cure now. And then we can, what we're going to do is we're going to clean up the edges. And what we're going to do is paint the decking on the bridge area. And you can see there is a little bit of bleed through. So what we'll do is we'll touch up with a brush everything that needs to be touched up. And we'll touch up with the brush all the gray that needs to be touched up. Alright, and when you spray it, you can see how we can put the edges, wrap it around the cup. See, if you bring it down, we have that little bit of paint that we can work with. So what I want to do now is I want to start doing the cutting in these little buildings around the bottom. So I want to take just a little bit of the paint. Just a bit. It's going to go on like that. This might be 2 coats as well. Alright, you guys can see the first coat. Again, we'll clean it up when we touch up the different color. But for now, I just wanted to get the first coat on, so we can go ahead and do this section now. Alright, so we got the first coat on. We'll do a couple of coats, and again we'll go back and we'll touch up this color, the ocean mist. When this is dry, again we're not going to let it cure completely, but I do want to get it dry so we can put the second coat on, because there's a big difference from spraying it. It's a little more, well, a little more touchy. Maybe we can do a little bit of the brush onto the back, so to get that more of a textured kind of look, maybe. See how I wanted to give it that that kind of a rough look? Again, just like that. See how it looks like, almost like it's rusty, and then they painted over it to repaint? See, that's what I want. I want it to look like it's beat up and weathered, and that they repainted it. But instead of making it look absolutely gorgeous and brand new like the refit, I want it to look beat up and repainted, because it's Klingon. We don't want it to look like a 57 Chevy. So that's pretty good. So we got that all set. So I'm going to go ahead. Now when it comes to the lights, I was thinking about what to do, because I tried looking in all my other kits to see if I had anything that could be this size, and I just don't. Alright, so I wanted to use marker, because I figured it'd be a little more transparent, but I'm going to have to use the paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these. See, it is like a marker, but I was hoping to use actual marker, and see how that kind of covers it all up. All right, just so it's covered. So let's see, we'll do the other one. What I need to do is put this to the side to dry, and I like to use needle nose pliers. The way I do it is I just kind of spin it around while putting the paint on. You don't want to clump it. See how that looks pretty even? Okay guys, let me give you a bit of an update. Like, you guys been following the build. I want to just kind of refresh it. I used the Rust-Oleum. This is the primer plus the paint. I like the Rust-Oleum. It's really thick, and you got to shake the can forever. And even with that, when you brush it out or you respray it, you can get different kind of like different textures and different colors or different shades. So what I did for the Klingon ship was I sprayed the top. Let me show it to you. I sprayed the top, and what I did was I went back and I just brushed it, because I wanted to get the different textures and the different shades of the harshness of space going over it. So I gave it 2 coats of the spray paint, and then I had gone over it with the brush, and I kind of streaked it back to try to give it the illusion of the weathering coming from the front, again through the harshness of space. So I just finished brushing it, and I think that's the final coat that I'm going to put on the back. I think it came out nice. The only thing is the gray is probably a little darker than I'd like. Maybe if I would have done the actual filming model of the Smithsonian, this would be good, because the rest of the ship would be a lighter gray and it would be a little bit darker on top. But that'll be another project sometime in the future. With this one, I just wanted to do the studio model because I love the color scheme. I just love this color. So let me show you some updates on the other parts. I can handle it now. It's about 3 days out where I painted this. And I had really liked the idea of that being chrome. I don't know if I want to go back and, I don't know. We'll see, but there's really not much detail paint-wise on this as opposed to the studio model. I do have, let's see where I put it, the chrome strip that's going to go, and this is going to go right in the back, like that. So it's still reflective. Matter of fact, we can probably go ahead and glue this now, because we're not going to be painting it anymore. We'll see the inside where it's going to go. And we just want a drop. That's all it takes on either side. Would have been nice to light it. That would have been really cool, but this is the second best thing. You can see how it looks really cool with the chrome piece behind it. And this, the impulse deck, as far as I know, the back is the shuttle bay, but I actually have blueprints from Star Trek The Motion Picture, and when this was upgraded to the Katinga class, I've actually got the blueprints, so that's going to be a fun video, as well as the blueprints for the Enterprise refit. So that's all finished. Let me show you guys what I've been doing on the two lights that go on the front. Now, when it comes to those lights, the studio model that I'm modeling this after had them red, and there are little outlines of gold on them. Well, what came with the kit was actually green. So what I ended up having to do, let me show you guys, they're all dry now, is I ended up having to paint them red. And I tried to go light on the paint to keep it translucent, but I don't know how well these are going to light up. I've actually got a gold pen, like a marker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the outer rim. Here we are. You guys, hopefully you can see the little bit of gold going around. Again, it's not a lot, it's just noticeable. So we got that one all set. Okay, so I used the other color, the ocean mist, and I kind of cleaned up around all the edges. So it's still wet, so I think what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and the lights had some time to dry, so let's put this one there. Let's get the other one. You can see those look pretty good. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to actually glue them onto the top. And we'll use the super glue. Where are my tweezers? You can see I like to put just a drop. That's all it's going to take. Just like that. So we'll flip it around and we'll put it into the top. All right, that's glued on. Make sure you guys can see that, how that looks. Okay, so she had some time to dry. Let's move the water for a minute. So she had some time to dry, and we can handle her now. And again, this isn't glued on yet. So what we're going to do now, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to actually do the markings, like on the model itself. I'll put up pictures and you can see that all of the windows are outlined on the model. So why don't we go ahead and do that first. I'm going to use the Sharpie. So the windows on the side, the room lights are off. Again, hope you can see that. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go around and we're going to do all the windows. All right. So we got the windows put in. See that? What I think we can go ahead and do now is, when it comes to the model itself, we've got the red lights with the little gold rings around them, and then we've actually got a green light on the top of this section. Now, I am going to use, you can see this is going to be just about perfect where I have my finger for that. Now, in case you're wondering where I got this from, let me show you. When I had done the 1/350 scale Enterprise, this is the lighting kit from Polar Lights, and there's, you're not going to use everything in this because it gives you the option of using this in reference to the kit itself. You can replace some of the parts. So what I did was I went and I got this because I saved it just for this occasion, and I think those little lights right there are going to be perfect. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to drill right in here. The part will fit in there. We might have to go a little bit bigger, so let's give it a test fit. So, like I said, it's going to be these right here. That's why I said, guys, if you're doing a model kit and you end up with extra parts, you might as well keep the parts because you never know when you're going to need them. So this is going to be really tiny. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see this. What I want to do is get this right in. And just like that, we've got the light in the back to go with the two that are in front on the cabins section. Okay, so that's all. The kit is so special. What I want to do is I want to pay a little bit of homage and leave a little bit of a time capsule in it. So I'm going to put the actual lights that came with the kit, and we're going to tuck that into the model, as well as all the parts that I didn't use, like the screws and the other little plastic parts. So we're going to put that in the model, and to keep it true to form, I ended up painting the switch, and we have the switch, and I glued that into position just so that we have markings from the original model so that we know how special it is. Just like that. And you guys can see the little pins where they're going to be guided, where it's going to go into position. And just like that, you can see how she's starting to take shape. Okay. Now when it comes to the decals, we've got two of the Klingon symbols, and we've got the writing. So each of the Klingon symbols is actually going to go on the port side. One on the top and one below. And these, let's do them separate because one's going to go on the top and one's going to go on the bottom. Alright, so let's get these nice and wet. What I did was I used a little bit of water and I put just a drop of dish soap inside of it because it makes a nice humectant. Check that out. It looks pretty cool. And let's put one on the other side. And that'll get much better once we put the microsol on. Okay, so let's take and see if one of these are ready. There we go. There, I want to show you guys how cool that is. Remember when I had wanted to do the texturing with the paint? That's why it looks really cool, because you got that kind of used up, worn harshness of space kind of texture going against the decal. And this is, when this sets, it's actually going to look like it was painted on. So we got the bottom section. Let's do the port side. And what's nice about the micro set is it's actually going to get rid of all of the little clear parts of the decal instead of it being noticeable. Looks like I got some there. And just a little bit for the symbol itself. We have the windows painted. We got them on the bottom as well. We have the windows highlighted, or the ones that are going to be off anyway. We put the light in the top. Just enough to highlight it so that you guys know it's there. That's kind of like what the photos from the studio model looked like. Again, just to know that it's there and that there's something that's looks pretty important that's on the grills. Again, not to make a big deal out of it, but just to put a little bit of highlight so you guys know that there's something there. Again, the gray came out just a bit darker than I would have liked, but the next one that I do of these, I'm actually going to do we're going to do it true to the filming model itself. And it's light gray on the bottom and a little bit of darker, shade darker on top. I'm going to show you guys the bridge section. You can see the light. And I wanted to light it up for you to show you guys what it looked like, but we're going to have to wait because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to the base. You can see the pretty cool looking Klingon ship, and again, I just love the color scheme. I think it looks so cool. But like I said, if there are any little touch-ups, like I noticed that they had little red lights, well, that were painted on the model. We'll do all the little touch-up work after we put it onto the base and mount it, as well as the clear coat. We'll clear coat once it's mounted permanently onto the base. So this was this section. We got the model, the top, the bottom. We got it painted. We got some of the detail work, the bridge, the cabin quarters, the lights. We got the lighting into the ship, where we did that a while ago. We got the impulse deck on. We got the decals on, and we have the windows marked in. So this pretty much wraps up this section of the video. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the base. So that's going to be really fun.